morning. I would like to start by asking you to have a look at these photos, random photos of individuals off social media, off Facebook. Individuals who, after all, could be all our customers, whether in insurance, in banking, in payments, in Forex. That's why we're here at Finovate. We're here to find out new solutions, how to onboard faster, how to find methods, how to see what the potential of a potential client is and is going to generate to our business. And whilst you're looking at these photos, you're all looking at them from different angles. There are people who own companies in here. There are people who work for companies. There are COOs, head of risk, head of innovation. You're all looking at these photos from different angles, different perspectives. In fact, most of us actually already resort to social media to try and profile clients in advance of them joining us, to understand the history, to understand the background of the photo, what could lead to this potential client leading to more business. However, irrespective of your jurisdiction, irrespective of your business, irrespective of your role, there is one common element to your decision process, and that is risk. Risk is common to whatever process you just did to look at those photos. Risk is something underlying our decision process, what we're looking at in the background, what we're looking at on the person. And risk, in fact, is one of the most dynamic elements in our business. Unfortunately, it's constantly changing. It's governed by various factors. So one of the most important is regulatory. So based on the jurisdiction where you're based on the jurisdiction where you're offering the service, we all have regulatory processes and policies that we have to adhere to. There's also internal policy based on our brand, on our reputation, on our risk levels, our understanding of what risk is. However, there's another huge element, and that is the human bias. Human bias is what you just did yourselves when seeing those photos. And human bias relates to personal experiences, work experiences, who you met in the past, good experiences and bad experiences that make you, as a human being, factor in your decision process. In fact, this element of risk being so dynamic is what led to us create KYC Portal. KYC Portal is, in fact, an engine that allows an institution, whatever the jurisdiction is, whatever the industry is, to be able to tailor the entire due diligence process, not only at company level, but at product level, at service level, allowing you to define the entirety of your due diligence process, from defining the subjects, the data that we collect on subjects. So, for example, even if regulations change, the ability to tweak what we ask for, because we are constantly tweaking what we ask for in real time, the ability to change any aspect within the data set that we collect, not only internal within the organization, but even within the onboarding experience itself. A system that allows you to define the checklist for regulators, the aspects of questionnaires, the famous source of funds, source of wealth. These are one of the biggest time wasters in our business, because someone manually has to leaf through the answers that customers give us. A system that allows you to set those with embedded risk. A system that also allows you to define the entire risk matrix based on internal policy, regulatory, jurisdiction requirements, in order to make that risk central to the entire operation, not only back office, but also the ongoing. The system then uses this risk engine, which is in real time, being factored, being calculated based on your decisions, to be able to set statuses, workflows, rules, allowing you to even tweak it based on market happenings, for example. It then merges all of this into a central console to be able to allow your team to be able to manage even the documentation requirements. For example, the system allows you to say, listen, I need this particular document on this type of entity when this risk is reached, eliminating the risk exposure that you guys have in between manual reviews. So rather than relying on the fact that we have a review coming up based on the current risk, a system that alerts you on the day that you're actually exposed to risk. It then allows the team to be able to handle applications, processes on all this aspect of configuration. So it allows the team to see the full view of the customer with all the key principles, the real-time risk, the statuses being how your teams move one application from one status to another, from approve to reject to escalate to head of risk to fraud. The system then handles all the aspects of documents, checklists, all the questionnaires, aspects of screening services for PEP, sanctions, adverse media. However, one important element is the aspect that the system tracks risk from day one that the customer joined you all throughout the lifetime of the customer being with you, giving you the ability to understand how risk evolved, at what point in time, what triggered it to change over the relationship you have with the customer. In fact, the system also has the aspect of customer outreach embedded within it. And the only reason why we embedded it in the system, because customer outreach is as dynamic as the internal process of due diligence that you have. A system that allows you to communicate with customers with biometrics, allowing customers to even have a centralized system to manage their ongoing relationship with you. However, this portal, we launched it actually at Finovate in London in 2017. And since then, over the past years, we operate in multiple jurisdictions with multiple types of industries. And obviously, like any other system that you would expect, the system stores a lot of data. There is two types of data. We have the data that any other system would store, the subjects, the questionnaires, the audits, nothing new over there. However, our team has been working and understanding the data of our clients, with their permission, obviously, on what else we could achieve. And we found out that there is something very interesting. We found out that there is the data set of what your teams are doing. So yes, the system allows you to set your regulatory policy, your internal policy, or how you want it to work. However, what is interesting about the system is that we're actually now learning and studying what your teams are doing, how your teams are perceiving that infrastructure of regulatory to act on decisions. So we're storing whenever your team conducts a status change in an application. We're storing also whenever risk changes, but we're also storing the entire data snapshot of what the application is at that point in time, with the time it takes for your teams to process applications. And this is what led to what we're calling the new reporting AI module, which we're launching officially today at Finovate Berlin. So the new AI engine, one of the best reports that we have, is this workflow engine report. It's a system that is storing and aggregating all status flows across programs within your organization. How your teams are moving applications from one status to another, instantly giving you visibility of how complex this process, this product, this service is within your organization. It is also expanding which steps in your process are leading to extra steps. It is also aggregating the time that your teams are taking from one step to another, showing you the average process time, lifetime of an application within this product or service. A system that, thanks to this aggregation, is also allowing you to identify instantly bottlenecks in processes. Which steps are leading to the biggest cost in my compliance team? Which step and cost could be both the human effort, so listen, do I need to add more resources to this team to be able to handle this? Or which applications, which steps are leading to a lengthier service to onboard a customer, allowing us to even delve into more detail to understand which processes need fixing. However, the system doesn't only give you that as an aggregate, it also splits it by the category of risk of the subject. So allowing me to understand how much my low-risk customers, medium, extreme, and high customers are costing me, to the detail of understanding which step in my process is actually leading to that cost. More time and more time consumption on handling processes. Next in line is another report which is very interesting, which is the status data set flow analysis. So what we're studying over here is whenever someone in your team takes a decision based on your policy, based on your regulation, we're taking a snapshot of all the data in that application and studying what data is leading to your teams to take that action, to take that decision. In fact, for example, if we had to focus on a particular status called investigate, this is a demo, the system allows me to see which are the fields that led my teams into putting an application in the status and be able to investigate further. I can understand which fields are making my team decide and even drill down deeper into the field to even see what values in that field are leading my team to push applications in that status. Another report which is very interesting with the AI engine is the application lifetime report. And this is studying all the data patterns on a subject, be it an individual, a corporate, an entity, from the beginning of time till today, matching on it all the statuses that my teams took, when they took decisions, how it impacted the decision, the ability to even filter at subject level to even understand the detail of each field. For example, I want to see how the field sanctions was when the risk spiked or went down. I want to see how the country changed when the risk went up or down. It also allows me to do comparative analysis. I want to grab 2 snapshots of risk on a customer to be able to understand exactly in my team what led to my team, my human beings, to take the decision itself. However, one of the most important features is the forecasting engine. So what we're doing here, we're using all this data of your teams, not regulatory, not internal policy, the decisions that your teams are taking to forecast how long it's going to take you to close an application from day one that that person is onboarded, exactly within a 95% percentile. Not only that, not only the days it's going to take you to close off this application, but from day one, we're going to be able to also give you the most probable status outcome that your team is going to take. So practically giving you visibility from day one that you onboard an application of how much time I want to waste on this customer, because it's giving me the risk, the cost, and also the most probable outcome itself. And this is what we are calling the reporting AI platform. We're studying not the data that you set as a configuration in the system, but the decisions that your teams are taking, practically interpreting the human side of how they are actually evolving based on the decisions that you set. In fact, it is a feature that allows you to drill down to an individual team or team member to be able to even understand if there is an issue with particular aspects. And the most important part of that is the fact that this new AI engine is allowing us to understand the cost of a subject from day one that we onboard them, the time it's going to take us to close this application, and also forecasting the most probable outcome, such as approved or not. I want to finish this presentation by taking you back to the photos you saw initially. They weren't random people. They are all colleagues of mine at KYC Portal, at FinOps. And we asked our team to onboard themselves in a fund corporate program. So we set up a fund corporate structure in KYC Portal, and we asked them individually to be able to onboard themselves. May I ask you to try and remember the photos and relate to how your reaction was, irrespective of whether in insurance and banking and payments. And what we're going to show you is that the second we onboarded these people through the platform, the system started giving us these results. First in line, product manager, Sylvain, risk perceived, medium. The most probable outcome by the end of the process, which is going to take 16 days, is recommended for rejection. Paul Wright, senior software engineer, medium risk, approved with 7 days outcome to onboard the person. Next in line, Bami, software engineer. Those are actual photos, by the way, on their social media. The risk low, approved in principle, and 4 days from a time to process. Kristoff, senior technical architect, risk instantly on day one went to high. The most probable outcome is approved, and the time to process 23 days. And last but not least, our CTO, who happens to be moving house, risk is low, most probable outcome approved with 2 days to process. The reason why we wanted to show this, because we want to relate to the human bias of how we react to photos on social media and how our teams react to when people are in front of them. Thank you very much. This is KYC Portal. If you have any questions, we are the stand with the bed in it. Thank you.